Good morning. Welcome to Unity Longmont Spiritual Center on August 8th, 2021. And we are blessed to have Bobbie Wilson provide us with a talk and meditation today, and Clint Brown to provide us with music. So thank you all for being here, and we'll start with a piece of music.
Spirit of light, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, come to me. Spirit of light, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving light the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, come to me.
Thank you, Connie Schaefer, for lending your sweet voice. Thank you, Clint Brown.
Thank
And it's
you.
at this time that we go into prayer together by taking a breath. Beloved presence, we're grateful to join together this morning to celebrate life, to celebrate health and well-being. We also celebrate our divine powers within each and every one of us that we use in order to navigate this life. And so it is. And we'll have another piece of music, please.
I open my heart, may it always be with you, nurture and sustain you, even when we're apart. I offer my love as we journey together through the light of our caring. May we become one. May the vision we share bring hope and bring healing. Let the joy and the caring be for all time. May the light of your love shine forever in spirit for all who are near it. I open my heart, I open my heart, may it always be with you, nurture and sustain you, even when we're apart. I offer my love as we journey together through the light of through the truth of your beauty. Every instant is healing. All pain is transformed. Your purity shines outside the illusion, beyond all confusion. As you open your heart, I open my heart. May it always be with you, nurture and sustain you, even when we're apart. My light of our love, shine forever in spirit, through the light of our caring. May we come home.
Thank you, Clint. And now let us open our hearts to Bobbie's message. May it nurture and sustain us.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is pretty amazing because none of you knew that my message today was going to be the matter of the heart. And look at how perfect the music was and how perfect everything is, really. So when I got this message about the heart, usually what happens is I know I'm going to speak on Sunday, and around about Tuesday or Wednesday, it comes to me what I'm going to be talking about. And I thought I was going to be talking about something different, but I kept getting heart, heart, heart. Okay, let me just be with heart. And so I hadn't prepared anything around it, but an interesting thing happened with my little dog, Cody. So Cody's almost 16 years old. He's got dementia. He's hard of hearing. He can't see very well. And therefore he is anxious a lot of the time, particularly when it's bedtime. And I don't know if you've ever seen an old anxious dog. Cody's only 13 pounds, so he's small enough I can carry. But so he's up on the bed because he sleeps on the bed with us. And he's bouncing around, up, down, over, down, to the edge, up, down, over, just bouncing around. So one of us takes him outside, maybe he has to pee again. Nope, come back in, bounce, 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 bounce. So I'm laying there thinking, okay, I know that dogs feed off of energy. They are very sensitive to energy. So what is my energy? I'm getting anxious because the dog's anxious. Well, isn't that perfect? So my dog is like getting my anxiety and his anxiety all there, and it's compounding for him. So I thought, well, let me do something here with the heart. Let me go into meditation and feel heart energy. So I did. I closed my eyes and he's bounce, 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 bounce. And I'm laying there and I could feel the body just melt, mine. And I could feel, I sensed the heart opening just like a lotus flower, just opening, opening, opening. And that was sort of the visual I had in my mind. But what was really amazing was this sense of energy was evoked that was the purest, the sweetest, the most warm and, what's the word? It was just a holding energy. It wasn't everything is okay energy. And as I'm sitting in this energy, I could feel it expanding out from me and moving, moving, moving. And pretty soon I noticed the bouncing stopped. Cody stopped bouncing around. He's just kind of alert, a little bit fidgety. And I'm like, oh, look at that. Interesting. Well, I guess I'll stop the meditation now because he's calmed down. So I did. I stopped the meditation. Bounce, 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 bounce. There he is. He's up again. So I'll go, okay, let me just go back into that energy. Let's just test this out and see if it's really that, I didn't know. So go back into that meditation on the heart, go back into that energy, go back into that energy that was so all pervasive that there were no thoughts. There was no image other than this open flower kind of image. And this sense of this warm honey energy just sweetly pervading everything. And I held that. The next thing I know, it's morning and we're both awake. So we took that energy and he responded by falling asleep. I responded by falling asleep. So I'm thinking, oh, there is something to this heart thing. Let's do a little research on it. So I did. I thought, let's see what happens. Let's see what the various religions say about the heart. And basically, it's very interesting to go back and look at how they thought of the heart before. One of the things that, I'm trying to get my notes up on the screen here. Oh, that's all right, down here. One of the things that I discovered was in the Bible, in most of the references in the Bible, it refers to the heart as where thoughts arise from, where emotions arise, and, it's the center of everything. Well, in truth, it is. However, it is not the organ that originates thoughts. It is not the organ that originates emotions. And we know that now. But back in the time when the scholars were writing the Bible, back in Jesus's time, they didn't know about the brain. I was on the website of Lawrence G. Collins, who is out of the University of California. And he was doing, he wrote a paper about how science and the Bible affect the language with which the Bible was written, because the science level at that time wasn't the same as it is here. And he says the lack of a modern scientific interpretation of the function of the heart in the Bible occurs because in the time of Jesus, the people considered the heart as the center of the body. All arteries lead from the heart. It pulses with life. The brain was thought to be some kind of organ that filtered the blood, but otherwise was relatively unimportant. I thought that was kind of amusing. So we have a physical heart, and we know that. We can feel it pulsing. We know it's critical to our physical life. If the heart stops, we die. In fact, we can continue to live when other organs degenerate, but when the heart stops, that's it. We're gone physically. So it is the physical locus of our physical well-being. Now let's look at the emotions. And it's often mistakenly thought that the heart is the origin of emotion. Love, compassion, all of the emotions, fear, whatever, come from the heart, but it isn't really. Emotions like fear, anger, desire, guilt, shame, pride, or happiness, joy, bliss originate in the brain, either in the amygdala, which is the source of fear, or in the in the other parts of the mind. And the emotions are an energetic activation in response to a trigger. Now, here's what the heart's doing when these emotions come up. They're triggered by events that the brain processes in the limbic mind and then in the frontal cortex. So this is first back here in the limbic mind, the amygdala, and then the frontal cortex looks at it and says, oh, I see I'm reacting. I wonder why. And then it inserts a layer of reasoning over that. But what does the heart do when we have all these emotions come up? It simply allows. It opens and it allows all of this brain function, all of these emotions, all of this feeling. It doesn't try and soothe or fix. It naturally opens. And when the heart opens and we're aware of that heart energy, then everything is like invited in and everything is held and everything merges. And so there's no need to fix it because the heart's holding it. I don't know how that works, but I know it does. So when I was working with my dog, Cody, and the emotion was anxiety, and the heart opened, it just held both of our anxieties. There was no prescription to do this or that. There was no need to focus or think. It just held it. And we both came to peace around it. So what is happening when we open the heart like that is we are getting into contact with our spiritual heart. The spiritual heart is something undescribable. It cannot be imagined. It cannot be defined. It cannot be looked at even, because it is so much a part of the beingness of all of us. So it's not an object that we can see out there, but it is the subject of who we are. It is our innate beingness. And that's a definition. So I went on to continue my research, and I got on the website truthunity.net, which is a Fillmore Unity website, and picked up the metaphysical definition of heart. The heart is love, the affectional consciousness. The affectional consciousness, what a phrase, in man. It is the faculty through which man receives love from being. I love that sense. It is the faculty through which man or woman receives love from being. Can you see the receptive nature of that open heart? It's like, okay, I'm not going to filter. Just going to be here with whatever is up. And then the definition continues. I believe this is Charles Fillmore's definition. The heart, however, is but the visible expression of an invisible center of consciousness. It is the center from which the divine substance is poured forth. You get that image of the connection that our heart energy, that beingness within us, is allowing that pouring forth of the source of our creation, of our ground of being. Everyone, the definition continues, everyone uses his heart center when he sends forth a loving thought. And I thought that was interesting there, because now he's saying, he's not saying that the heart sends the thought, because we know thoughts are mental activity, but he's saying everyone uses the heart center to express a thought through the energy of thinking, through the mental activity. So there we have the Christian biblical look, which said the heart is the center of everything and makes no distinction between heart and mind. We have the metaphysical look, which says the heart is the center of everything, but it is not. It holds the mind, but it is not the creator of emotions and thoughts. And then we have Swami Krishnananda, Hindu. And I stumbled onto this article on the internet, which I felt was fantastic, but I'll just read you a little bit of it because it's a little bit hard to relate to. He's really talking about paradox. He's talking about, and whenever you get into a spiritual discussion, you go deep enough and you're going to hit the paradox where we are or we aren't. We are everything, we are nothing. We are the subject and we are the object, etc. So bear with me. I'm going to read a little bit of this. So Swami Krishnananda, by the word heart, we mean the center of anything, the core, the substance, the vitality, the very being of anything whatsoever is the heart of that thing. Now this heart, this center, this core, this vitality, this substantiality, or the being of anything is incapable of description. When the heart speaks, I love this, when the heart speaks, everything is hushed. And I was thinking back to my experience with Cody. And in that heart energy, there was nothing else. There was simply this isness, this beingness of this sweet, safe, warm, money-like energy. And there was, everything else was hushed. There were no thoughts, no worries. Krishnananda goes on to say, the voice of the heart is often regarded as the final word. All arguments cease to function when the heart speaks, which means to say, reality, with a capital R, operates when the heart begins to function and express itself in any manner. So when we think about reality, the reality, not what we perceive, not the illusory nature of and temporary nature of our perception, but the reality of our being, it operates when the heart begins to function and express itself in any manner. So what that says to me is no matter what we do, what we say, if the heart is involved first, if we are connected to that beingness, that ground of being, it's often called, it doesn't matter what we do or say, because the heart is expressing what it needs to express. In other words, it's not to say that, okay, what he says is reality operates when the heart begins to function. Whenever we're in that heart energy, we are in that place of reality. If we're not in that energy, we're in the place of illusion. We're in the place of delusion often. It's a hard concept to kind of grasp, but just let it drop and just know that all you need is that connection to the ground, to the depth of our beingness. Krishnananda goes on to say, we are also told that meditation on the heart is one of the principal methods prescribed. People gaze inwardly into their own feelings and conceive of a lotus, a resplendent rising sun of golden hue, and so on in their meditations. But there is another significance in what we mean by the heart as far as spiritual seekers are concerned. The heart of the matter, and when I read this, I go, that's what I was told to talk about. That's the word I got on Wednesday when I was, oh, the heart of the matter. Okay, I guess it's this. The heart of the matter, he says, is the root thereof, which is incapable of objectivity or externalization. Now, bear with me here. You all know that duality requires two, right? It requires a subject and an object. And typically we are the subject as an individual body, and whatever we're relating to or thinking of or, seeing or perceiving is the object. And that's how we perpetuate separation, right? There's me, there's you. There's me, there's that. There's this, there's that. So what he says here, the heart of the matter is the root thereof, which is incapable of objectivity or externalization. When we are in heart energy, there's no other. There's no that. There's no this. It just is. It all is. When you feel into that, don't you kind of get a sense of truth about it? Like, I am, you are, it is. So all of these things I'm seeing and perceiving in the world just are. They're subject. They're the heart of the matter. They contain the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter, he says, is the root thereof, which is incapable of objectivity or externalization. The heart cannot become other than what it is. The heart is the person. It is identified with the very soul of the individual. When we speak of the spiritual significance behind the word heart, we have to go a little deeper than the mere psychological concept of it, he says. He says, what we call the heart is that which is prior to everything that we can imagine in our minds or understand through our intellects. The very presupposition of our very existence is our heart, and there is a heart in everything. We'll let that settle in for a minute. Everything has a heart. It has the same heart that beats in us, each of us. Every person, every tree, every blade of grass, every animal, every stone, every molecule is an expression of the heart, the one heart. The heart is what ties it into the oneness. We are unity. That's the name of our belief system. And this perfectly expresses the nature of that unity, is that we are all essentially tied through what we can call heart energy or ground of being or pre-manifestation, whatever you want to call it. That's the core of what created us. And then he says, and now we come to the other point. And then he's talking again about subject and object. I don't think I'll read this. Yeah, we've already talked about that. So if the heart is the true subjectivity, the heart is the subject, there is no other. And if that is true, then subjectivity is the character of everything everywhere. The whole world is filled with heart. Holy cow. Can we see that? Imagine the whole world is filled with heart. Everything we see, the fires, the water shortage, all of the things we go, oh my God. Filled with heart. Perhaps we don't see it truly. Perhaps we're just relating to the fear brain stuff. Perhaps we need to go a little deeper. No, we can't imagine what good could come out of fires and droughts and all of that, or pandemics. But let's not get stuck up in those images. Let's go deeper. He says, Swami Krishnananda, there is nothing else in this world. It is only feeling, throbbing, pulsating, and demanding recognition in the way at which it has to be recognized, and not by way of a description in terms of something other than what it is. So when I think of drought and fires and pandemic, Am I thinking of the true nature of it? Or am I thinking it's something other than what it truly is? Probably, because I'm afraid of it. I don't want it. I want it to be a part. But there's a fearlessness in that heart energy. And it just allows the mind to rest. It takes the mind and holds it like a baby. Don't be afraid. So I just have a couple more things to say about the heart. And one of the things that's true about heart is it doesn't need to do a whole lot of stuff that we do all the time. Heart does not need to compare things. Because to compare one thing or person to another is to see the separation between them, right? And the heart sees no separation. The heart holds all levels of what we might compare by, what we might measure things by, wealth or smartness or wisdom or spirituality or anything. All those measurements we make in the world to judge each other by or to put ourselves on a ladder of better or worse or whatever. The heart doesn't do that. It doesn't need to, because it truly accepts all levels. Another thing the heart doesn't need to do is conclude. It doesn't need to make conclusions. You know, it's like back in the day, we concluded that the earth was flat. Well, now we're concluding that the earth is a sphere circulating around the sun. The heart doesn't need those models. The heart just knows it is, all is. And so when we make conclusions in this life, it's important to, or comparisons, it's important to think about, you know, that's the way it looks now, but is it really true? Is it really reality? Is it really something I need to cling to? Do I conclude my beliefs are the ones? Or am I holding them lightly because the heart doesn't need conclusions? Another thing the heart doesn't need to do is make assumptions. He won't like me. I think he won't like me because we're so different. How do I know? Assumptions stop the process of inquiry and curiosity. When we make assumptions, we're just going bonk, that's it. How do I know? Take any question and follow where it leads. And this is an actual exercise you can do if you have hours and hours. Start with a basic question and then follow the next question and the next question and the next question, and drill down, drill down, drill down. And what you'll end up with, the only answer you know for sure, or I know for sure, I am. That's it. There's nothing else. I am is the message of heart. I exist. I am created. I am. And of course, the heart doesn't need to select or to choose or to exclude. And, you know, like my beliefs are better, my politics are better. I'm going to select those and exclude yours. And you're a jerk for thinking the way you know, all of that whole argument that we get entangled in and suffer with and have splits in our families and all of that. Not necessary. We're all heart. The heart doesn't need to select or choose or exclude. What freedom? It just doesn't need to. It can meet anybody and it can say, hello, I love you. So any verb that you can apply to an other, that separation between me and you, or this and that, the heart doesn't need to do that. It's all one. Now, that's not to say that it's bad to differentiate, because in this life, we have this experience of being separate. Okay, I do choose, I make assumptions, I make conclusions, and I measure things, I evaluate things, I judge things. not bad. It's just part of this experience. And if it's causing me to suffer because I like this and don't like that, I want this and I don't want that, I can always go into heart. And I can always see the reality of things. Isn't this or that? It doesn't matter. It really, really, really doesn't matter, because heart, it's the heart of the matter. Literally, heart is the heart of any material thing. And so to bring ourselves down into that heart energy, there is only that indescribable sense of being held and warmed and sustained and nourished as the seeds of creation. So let's just do a little quick meditation. And if you just close your eyes quickly and allow yourself to just drop into what feels like a warm honey, even the color of amber, space in the center of your chest, and see that lotus flower opening, and sit in that center and receive them, whatever that evokes for you. Let's just remain in this space for a minute. Now allow yourself to become aware of breathing and aware of where you're sitting. And sense the air on your skin, the light behind your eyelids. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to open and your mouth to smile. And so it is. And thank you.
Thank you, Bobbie, for bringing us together in the Sacred Heart. And so we'll hear a piece of music from Clint Brown. was lovely, Clint. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's at this time that as a group, we go into our donation of love and light and take note that we put our hands on our heart, our physical heart, our spiritual heart. And being aware of our breathing, we become increasingly aware of the light and love within us and around us. And we may become aware that the light and love within us begins to expand. And we can soften into that. And as this light and love expands, we become aware that it goes wherever it is needed. Whoever can use it. We don't need to make that choice. And so taking a deep breath together, we experience gratitude for this ability. And so it is. And so we will finish with a piece of music, please.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.